So after confronting my stalker and his wife, the developments got worse, and basically I tried to hide things in my house whenever I would leave, take my devices with me. And the first time that I actually called the police was when I got back home after going out. I realized that somebody had come into my apartment and that they went through my closet where actually I did hid things, and they had been going through it, and some money was missing. I had like some euros left, which was not really in a hidden spot, but it was somewhere and it was gone. And this is when I knew whoever was haunting me um, is actually living in that building. And definitely after resetting my devices and hearing that man upstairs and confronting them, I knew it was them. It was coming from that apartment 87. So, yeah, things got worse from there. I became quite frantic in terms of trying to find a solution, because it was delaying me for my plans that I had. Mind you, I came back to London basically to work on my plan B, as my plan A failed, with regards to relocating to Ghana, and that didn't work out, and I had to come back and work on plan B to be able to relocate back again. So he was basically delaying my plans, and it was disrupting me, especially since he started hacking my website. Not particularly hacking my website, because my website was quite secure. That was one thing I was proud of, but because he hacked me, he got access to my main portal of my website and changed the password. So I couldn't get in without going through some hoops and stuff to regain access. So that was quite annoying. He started basically just petty things like changing my passwords. If I type in my password, um, the exact password that I've written down, it would not work. Um, I'm not sure if he was changing the keystrokes, but I believe that he did install like a keylogger on my device, whereby he can simply just mess with me. Maybe the password is actually correct and it's just not going through. So every time I think like, oh, my password has been changed, I will type it in 3 times in a row and it's not going through. And so this annoyed me a lot, and I tried to find solution. So coming back, because I digressed just before, I called the police on them. Well, I called the police and to report that somebody has broken into my apartment, no visible signs of entry, forced entry. And they came, the policeman and the policewoman, they came, and this was my first encounter with a police person in this situation, as being harassed or stalked by somebody. So they were very nice people, but they came in, and the first comment they made was like, oh, this is really nice. Yeah, very nice apartment. I'm like, okay. I didn't even say thank you, They started going through, walking about, like, yeah, really nice. Nice that you are living here. And so I told them, well, this is happening. I think when they came, I was in shorts, and I was wearing shorts, not really looking neat. I don't know. I wasn't expecting them when they came. But I don't know. But just the way they behaved, it was odd. I found it very odd how they reacted, more focused on my apartment as if it was too nice for me. That was kind of the impression that they were giving me, because they were so busy with trying to find out how much rent I was paying there, and with whom I was living, and like, how is she able to afford this place by herself? This kind of impression. So they were nice. They told me, like, what you can do. We have this equipment. It's like a nail polish thing. You put it on your devices. If somebody steals it, then they at least can identify it because it has some kind of a tracker on it. And then I had to register with them, with my devices and stuff. So they gave it to me, and then they gave me advice to change my locks and to speak to my landlord about it and stuff. So I followed through with everything they said. My locks were rechanged again. I actually changed the locks myself. And yeah, so nothing really came out of it. They told me that they will follow up. They never did, to be honest. They never did. And I told them that it was the person upstairs. And then they ask you, like, what kind of evidence do you have? So I told them the story about how I reset my phone 6 times. And every time that I did it, he will walk to a place and undo the changes that I made to my phone. And that's how I know. And I also confronted them, and they refused to open the door. But that said, I think last time when I was talking about the story, I should have actually highlighted, because obviously I'm a black woman, and 2 white people might be intimidated by seeing a black woman in front of their doorstep very early in the morning. So I don't know. That I will give them. Like, maybe they felt like intimidated. They are afraid that I will mock them or whatever. So maybe that's why they didn't open the door. That's okay. And the police, I asked them to see if they would speak to them. They said they will follow up on it and see if there is anything suspicious, but they didn't. So they left. And then another time I also called the police. And this time it was a young male. He came by himself. And I was crying because I was so upset about everything that was happening. And it was getting so, oh my God, thinking about it, I want to cry again. But so he came in, and he was the meanest person I've ever met in my life. Like, he was not interested in whatever was happening to me. He came in and looked around, like, this kind of demeanor about him, like, he made me feel like I was so insignificant. So somewhere I don't even think that he was a real police, because I found it very strange that he was by himself. As the first time I called the police, there were 2 people that were sent. And I asked him to go upstairs, because I know for sure that the people upstairs are doing it to me. And I don't know them, why they are doing it. And again, he is asking, like, what evidence do I have? I can't go around accusing people like that. And I said, but it's them. They are doing it. He is coming into my flat whenever he wants to. I don't feel safe here. I'm renting a place and I don't feel safe. I am sleeping and I have heavy bags blocking my doorway, because I'm afraid that he has the keys to open the door when I'm in. I can't lock the door from the inside, because it was that kind of property that I was renting. You can't lock it from inside. It's just this key that you can actually, you turn it around, but from the outside you can just open it. So I was literally afraid, and every night when I went to bed, I will put heavy suitcases to block the doorway, and my bedroom was opposite the hallway of where the main door was. So this is how I slept. I barely slept. I slept like, I still have difficulty sleeping. I slept with the lights on, because I was afraid that something would happen. The heavy bags locked, And this is all that I was sharing with him and telling him, like, this is what I do every day. This is not a life. I don't know what I've done to these people, why they are doing it to me. But I don't know from anywhere. So I don't understand why they are doing it. And clearly, the woman is also part of it. So I asked him to go upstairs and speak to him. And then he said, okay, he will go upstairs and speak to them. And I asked him if I could come with him. And he said, no, I couldn't. That is not good for my safety, he said. So he went, and I still kind of followed him around the corner, but I didn't go upstairs. But I'm not sure if he actually went upstairs. Somehow, I don't know, I found it so suspicious. That cop that came to me, I don't remember his name. I didn't even ask for his shoulder badge, And these were all the mistakes that I was making because I was a rookie. I had no clue about these things. And he told me that he went upstairs and that he spoke to them and that they said that it's not them. And he came back downstairs and then he said, no, it's not them. It's a very young, decent folks. That's literally what he said. Decent young folks. A young family. And in my mind, I was thinking, what does he mean, decent young folks? Am I not a decent person? So they are too decent to stalk somebody? So now and then he asked me, do you have mental illness in your family? And I looked at him. What do you mean, mental illness? Well, do you have any cases of mental illnesses in your family? And I said, no. We don't even have cancer in my family, let alone mental illness. So I was so upset, and I thought it was so disrespectful. Like, he is labeling me as some mental person without even knowing me, without even hearing my story. So I was done with him. The moment he said that. And so I told him, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Goodbye. And then he left. So that was my second encounter with the police in terms of this case. I filed a report on, I think it's a cyber fraud website in the UK because my company was involved. So I filed that report there. And guess what? This person deleted the report that I filed. When I tried to log in again, I couldn't find the report that I filed. I called the company up. They told me they couldn't find my case there. So I did it again. I submitted again. They gave me a case number and everything. And then I will follow up on them, and then they will tell me they can't find anything in their system. So I started thinking, like, is he spoofing the calls that I'm making? Maybe sometimes when I'm calling the police, I think I'm speaking to the police, but I'm actually speaking to one of them, to him, or anybody of his members that he has engaged to stalk me. So I will go to our internet cafe and trying to read up on information about cyber stalking and everything, and to see like if I could get some help. And nothing will come out of it. I would also try to work from the internet cafe on my website, and every time I will go there, first stage, everything is fine. Somebody will come in, a young, sorry to say this, but a young white male will come in, and one guy came in and he was trying to talk to me and always looking at me over his shoulders and telling me that he came to burn a CD. I've never heard it. At this era, you come to an internet cafe to burn a CD? Who does that? Like, it doesn't exist. I mean, come on. So I always was suspicious of him. And then shortly after he left, the internet cafe had issues with the connection. The servers were out. I couldn't connect. I tried to connect through through the owner's phone. It wasn't possible. Every internet cafe that I will go to will start having issues. I will either be followed by somebody, and they all had some particular mark about them. Um, One thing that I would see, like people with an I don't know what it is called, like cross-eyed. Their eyes are going this way, and yeah. Anyway, let me stop here.